Now, as Annie showed you last hour, the ever-popular sports junkies on 106.7 The Fan have been together for 25 years. During that time, they've had some pretty wild, fun, and even volatile moments. For the first time, their story has been captured in a book called Still Barking by one of the junkies, JP Flaim. In it, he recounts the crazy ride he shared with best friends and fellow junkies Cakes, EB, and Lurch, also known as Jason. JP joins us live now from the 106.7 studios. Man, it is good to see you. Congratulations on the book. Let me start with this because there are folks here at the station who've asked the question. Still barking, what does that mean?
Well, we had Mike Francesa on the show 2 years ago to promote Uncut Gems, which was an Adam Sandler movie. And if you don't know Mike Francesa, he had a super popular show in New York with a guy who went by the name Mad Dog. It was Mike and the Mad Dog, and they broke up. And when he came on our show, he promotes the movie, and then he kind of turned the tables on us, and he was really intrigued by a show with 4 guys. And he was like, do you guys fight? Yes, we do. And he said, how do you decide who talks, and have you ever broken up? And it just popped into my head. Nope, we're still barking, because the truth about our show is 3 of us have known each other since we were in kindergarten, and Jason since high school. We were friends before the Junkies. We'll be friends afterwards. And the story of the book is really about the friendship and brotherhood that we share.
And the book is very forthcoming. You detail highlights of your story, your career. The lowlights are in the book as well. Fans are going to learn a lot about you guys, but what did you learn looking back at over 25 years of history?
Well, Tony, I don't know. I'm sure you're similar this way. You don't often think in the day-to-day grind of work how lucky you are. And looking back on the 25 years, I kind of go back to this moment where we had to decide if we were actually going to go for it. We were given an 8-week tryout to take over nights for the Grease Man on WJFK in 1997. And we're at Jason's house. We're sitting on the back deck. John has a full-time job, Cakes. He has a wife. He has a kid. He has a 401k. Is he going to give that up to go for it? Or am I going to give up? I was pursuing a law degree. Am I going to give that up to go for it? And there's no way, if I could put myself back in my shoes there 25 years ago, that I could have thought everything that happened. I mean, we've become friends with Cal Ripken. I've become friends with Tony Perkins, the 5th junkie. Like, there's no way I could have predicted this, Tony. So
I
that's
do call
kind of
myself
when I look
the 5th
back
junkie.
on it.
One of the things that I learned.
And so it's been a lucky ride.
And you know, because I say frequently, you guys are lucky, and by that I don't mean, oh, they lucked out. I mean, to do something that you love with the guys that you love, your good friends, your brothers, like you say, that's extraordinary. I want to mention one of the things that I learned in the book. You and EB actually, on at least one occasion, came to blows in the studio. What was going on there, and how do you overcome something like that?
Well, we overcome that because we've been doing it our whole lives. So Eric and I, EB, grew up across the street from each other. And I always point this out. Look, I only took Psych 101. I don't know enough about psychology. But the way I look at it is, we used to play in my backyard one-on-one baseball, one-on-one football, one-on-one soccer. And then arguments about the Washington football team or the Washington Wizards became kind of our one-on-one. And yes, occasionally it might get a little more heated and we got the physical blows. 10 minutes later, we're good. It's just the way it is. You know, brothers fight.
Right. You're right. Absolutely right. I want to take a moment. Your good friend Annie Yu wants to say hi and also wants to ask a question. She may be the 6th junkie. Annie?
Yes.
JP, it's good to see you. Congratulations on the book.
Thank you.
Hey, just like old times, I had to ask you about the game Sunday because it's a big one, of course. Washington, the home team, finally in the thick of this playoff race. We're in it. We're doing so well, and the team is doing exactly what the coach wanted from them. But the injury report did look a little troublesome earlier in the week, but there are signs of hope now. So how do we look in the big matchup for Sunday?
Well, if you asked me this a month ago, I would have said we look terrible. But Washington has kind of found a formula. They run the football now. They control the clock, and the defense is playing much better football. Dallas is probably a more talented team. They're 8-4. It's going to be a tall task. But they have found that formula. Coach Rivera has instilled a belief in them. So I think they got a good shot.
All right. That's what we want to hear. JP, congratulations. The book is Still Barking. You can get it at stillbarking.com. You're going to be making a book signing appearance later today?
Yeah, I'm going to be in Leesburg today, and I'm actually giving away not one but 2 golden tickets for a party at my house tomorrow,
nice.
which it's kind of like Willy Wonka. I'm opening up the house. 25 tickets went out in the first 1,000 books shipped, and we're going to do the last 2 today at Leesburg at Dulles Motor Cars. And look, I live in a regular house. I don't live in a gated community. I don't live in a mansion. I don't know if my house is going to be able to hold up, but we owe a lot not only to people like Annie, you and Tony Perkins who support the show, but the listeners that make a choice for 25 years to listen to the Junkies. I'm honored that so many have been doing that for so long, because that pays my bills, Tony. T-Perk, that pays my bills. Those people that are coming out and supporting and listening to the Junkies, and we are eternally appreciative for that.
And before we let you go, I have to also ask, when is Sundress Silly's coming back?
I don't know, you know. I would guess, do you have one lined up? I guess next year, maybe. Maybe
I
we
got
gotta bring it back
my
next year.
sundresses lined up. I'm waiting for the next invite.
Yeah, you know, the pandemic kind of changed everything,
Yes.
but now we're kind of finally getting back out there, which is great. Like I said, I'm honored. I mean, so many people have done some book signings here in the last week, and so many people come up and say, I've listened to you guys for so long. Here's the thing. I'm 51 years old now. Sometimes there are 35-year-old guys who have 2 and 3 kids, and they go, I've been listening to you since I was in the 7th grade when my dad would drive me to school. And it's crazy that that 13-year-old kid is now like 35, still listening to the Junkies, but we are still barking.
Perfect. He's a pro.
that.
He's
Yes,
a pro.
he is. Yes,
JP, congratulations on the book. You guys are great. We love you. Give our best to all the other guys as well. And maybe we'll have you on the news again Monday, depending on how that party at your house goes tomorrow.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. Hey, and by the way, T-Perk, thank you for the testimonial in the book. That's a teaser. If you want to see Tony Perkins' testimonial, you have to buy the book.
My pleasure.